So we're going to go ahead and get started. I don't want it to actually be that I don't get through everything and we only have the 40 minutes. So first things first that I want to actually go into, and that is, let's see, I'm going to share my screen here. Okay. Can everybody see my screen at the moment?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so let's get this out of the way. We don't want to deal with Quip. You are in the way. All righty, so let me see if I can move this over. Not in right there. Okay. So first things first, the way I will actually, so to say, communicate with you every week will be through Brightspace, meaning my lectures are going to always come from this announcement section here. I am going to guarantee you there's going to be stuff here that will not be in the rubrics. So I am highly suggesting, not that you don't read the rubrics, because that's fine, but if you actually stick with just my announcements, you will literally get what you need. If I tell you, okay, then go to the rubrics, that's fine. But either way, definitely touch the rubrics because this is where everything will actually be. So I'm going to go on down to the first week. So of course, we have the first week's announcement. Now, this is what I highly suggest every single time you are working week to week. Excuse me. Open up two different tabs, separate them so you can see what you're doing as well as what it's telling you to do. That way you don't miss anything. Missing one thing could actually completely mess up your whole project. So what I'm going to highly suggest is, let's say you are actually working in InDesign. I'm going to do this. If it was me, let's pull it in a little bit. I would actually open up a tab that has my InDesign and then actually open up Brightspace and have them side by side so that you are actually working and doing as at the same time. So read, act. Make sense to everybody?
Yep.
Okay, and I'm gonna need y'all, you can go ahead and turn on your what do you call it? I can't talk, your audio if you want to. I can't tell if Lara, can you hear us now,
Yeah,
Lara?
yeah, I'm here. I can hear you perfectly
And
well.
am I saying it right? Is it Lara?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, perfect. Okay, great. I wanted to make sure that you could actually hear me. Um, so what you want to do, like I said, just have them both up so that you are actually reading and working at the same time. That way you don't miss anything. Now, from the start, let me just say, when you look at this, I'm going to move back over so I can actually discuss this first. All right, first week. If you look, I obviously am telling you, you need to read through everything, right? The discussion, not a big deal. Everybody got through that really well. Let's go on down into the actual grid creating. You obviously, I'm telling you right from the start, you need to actually read chapter 3. Chapter 3 is actually where you're going to get a bunch of information that you need. It's telling you about the grid systems. Of course, you need to actually touch into anatomy of grid, but I'm telling you for a fact, the grid system shows you exactly what's happening, and I should not have even bothered to. I'm going to end up having to come out of there and go back into it. But anyway, you want to make sure that you are doing exactly what I tell you. If I say you need to read that and I give you specific chapters and sections, that's where your information lies. Get there, read it, come back to what you actually have to do. And what I'm going to say is, after reading it, don't close it out. Read it, minimize it. So if you need to go back to it, do what you got to do so that you can make it happen. All right. So I'm gonna try to talk fast. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to stop me. Okay.
I do have a quick question.
Okay,
So,
Brian.
as I was reading chapter 3, for me personally, I kind of had a hard time kind of understanding the visual aspect on how to create the grid because I actually had to watch one of the resource videos on YouTube where a guy was explaining like how to set up the grid as well as like the rulers. So I
Yes.
kind of took what I could visually see from the chapter because I know it's talking about like columns, symmetry, modular,
Mhm.
hierarchy. So again, like in comparison to the video and the reading, I had a better time understanding the video, but
And
I don't
that's
know.
why it's there. So that's good. I'm glad you did that, Brian.
Yeah, but
I'm sorry, go ahead.
yeah, so I don't know if that aligns well with what I made like on my document, but
It
if
may
I
not have, but that's okay. I'm gonna get into it so that I can make sure that you understand exactly what it was that you were supposed to be doing. Cool? Cool? Is that understood? Brian?
Can you repeat that again?
I was saying, I'm gonna go over exactly what it is that you had to do, so that way you can understand exactly what, if it's something different that was said that made you misunderstand anything, I'm gonna go through it all so I can ensure that you get it and you understand it. Cool?
Yeah, that's understandable.
Awesome. All right. So, like I said, I am going to move a little fast. Like the time is going to run by, and we've already almost gotten 15 minutes into it. And let me say this, should it be that we end up getting disconnected, what I'm going to end up doing is actually sending y'all an email real quick with another link to come back in. I'm hoping that doesn't happen because obviously we know that this was a very last minute thing and I had other things that I had planned for the day. So I need to, definitely get into it. All right. So excuse me. I don't want to necessarily read through every single thing here. We all know how to read, but first off, you're going to be required to make sure that you use the information that's provided in the article, the imagery, the copy text. And when I say for the article, I'm talking about in the design brief. Everything in that design brief, you need to use it all. So as far as the first one's concerned, that means you had 3 images that you had to use, right? You didn't have any other images because you didn't need any others. All you needed was just the information for the actual artist. So that text that came along with it, every single thing, all of that has to be used. So week by week, whatever I'm actually explaining needs to be in the actual project. Make sure that you're using all of that information. And let me also say, if you realize there's something you missed, don't hesitate to go ahead, fix it and resubmit. I'm always going to grade the very last thing that you submitted. You'll need to actually complete the directions exactly how it says because it makes it a little bit easier. It's a little different from rubric to rubric, so just make sure that you are also reading what the rubric says as far as the grading rubric I'm talking about. If it says citations, do know that means you're going to get graded on citations, have those citations there. As well, like I said, there may be information that's in the rubric. If it's different from what I say in the announcement, follow what I say in the announcement. That is what I'm looking for. So don't veer to exactly like if I say that you need to do as far as the actual grid structure, if you notice down in here, I'm telling you exactly what you need to do. So you should have had everything listed like I had it. It may say something a little bit different in the rubric. I need you to do what it says right here in the actual announcement. All right. So in your design, in your InDesign file, you should have 4 layers. All right. So this is one thing that I noticed a lot of people didn't do. And I need y'all to know, I've made life a little bit hard for myself by actually allowing everybody to resubmit. Because what that means is I've actually gone through to grade everything and I have to do that all over again to include whatever else I have to do for that next week. So I just want to ensure that you all get the best grades. Is the only reason why I'm doing this. So it won't be that you're able to actually change everything, resubmit each week. That's not something I'm going to be able to do. So I need you to know what I tell you here is where I need you to actually follow through with. All right, so your InDesign file should have the 4 layers, like I said. Those 4 layers should be grid structure, text, images, and grid layout components. Those are the only 4 layers that you should have. So that means that your grid structure is obviously going to be in that grid. And that's what Brian was saying he was a little bit confused about. Honestly, if you look in the book, and I'm going to veer off for one quick second so that I can actually, I'm going to just duplicate and go in here. I need to do one quick thing to make sure I pull it back up. So ignore what you see in the background here, because I just need to actually pull up that, the actual book again, just so that, and I don't think I went to the right place. No, of course I didn't. Back here. I want to pull the book back up, and I realized it was up a little bit too long, and because of that, it's not actually showing you what I need you to see. So hold on one second. It might be a little easier to go a different route. So I thought I was good by having the stuff up, but it actually just got a little upset with me. It's been up for a little too long. Crap, it's still gonna be rude. Rude. This is a waste of time here.
Got a quick question while you are
Sure.
opening the book, ma'am. You were mentioning four layers only for the 1-3 exercise. Should I include my rationale then on the same layer as the copy and a new page, or
Well,
it's
if you looked at this assignment, it actually told you needed to have a Word document, everything on it. So I'm gonna go through that. I'm just, you know what? Because this is gonna take a little too long for some reason, I'm going in the wrong direction here. I just want to hurry up and get this through so we don't get messed up.
Yeah,
So,
because to like what they were saying to again, I know you're saying to look at the announcements because like before you just mentioned the announcements, I was looking at the rubric and it was saying to make an additional page with the grid you're creating as like the rationale rather than a Word document. So if you need it as a Word document,
hold on one second. Hold on one second, just since you said that. I'm not sure, this may look a little different than what you're seeing, and that's okay if it does, because I'm showing you literally going through my own stuff. So I keep pulling up everything wrong. I'm trying to push this here and I'm moving faster than I need to. Okay. From week to week, it's going to be different for you. And let's make sure that I pull that over. Okay. So explain how the following guidelines for the using the grid, this is where you're talking about right here, right?
yes.
Okay, so include your response in a separate text box in the InDesign document is what it's saying. So as long as you had it there, you'll notice that I didn't take off any points for you if you actually put it in there. So do know, I don't want you to feel like, okay, I took off points for anything like that, because if you notice, it doesn't say anything about literally, you know, that's where you need to do it. But the thing is, if I'm telling you, I want you to do it in a specific place, that's where what I need you to do.
So
But
do you mention a Word document on your announcement? Or I'm sorry, I just don't have access to my computer right now. That's why
no, that's fine. This is what you're here for. So you actually need to ask questions. Any questions that you should have, that's what I need you to actually ask about. So it says it here, but let me see. In a Word document, explain blah, 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 so on and so forth. And basically here, compress the package folder into the zip folder. So
Okay.
if you noticed even further what to submit, I'll always have that to let you know what you're actually submitting. So the packaged InDesign file and the Word document in a zip folder.
Okay, so all those together are zipped into one file then.
Yes, when you create a zip folder, and I noticed a lot of people did this, you never create a zip folder for one document. It just doesn't make sense, right? It's just one document. So no need to compress that. You're literally just going to send that one document. If you have more than one document, that's when you want to actually go through and put everything in one folder and then zip it. Cool?
Okay.
So
And I
just to
will
make
say
sure,
this too, because I noticed a lot of people did this. I'm gonna come back to you, Lara.
thank you.
When you actually have your whether it's your document or your folders or whatever, it's always a good idea to have your name on there. If I have more than one thing I'm looking at, I basically, if I don't have a name on there, then I have to literally go back through, download again and make sure of whose work is whose. So always make sure that you put your name on there. And that's just good practice in actually creating a document that you know for a fact everybody's going to have the same document. Put your name on yours. Yours stands out. I know exactly who you are. Lara, what
So-
did you say? I'm sorry.
No, yeah, I'm just modifying my files as we speak. So I just removed that layer and I have created the Word document. Do you want that Word document inside the zip file or
That's
outside?
what I just, yeah, that's what I just said. Everything has to go, if you look at it here, always look to see what you're submitting. They're InDesign packaged file, your Word document, and it's all going to be in a zip folder.
Perfect, thank you.
You are so welcome. Okay, I'm sorry, Brian, say that again.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt one more time. So, at the end of this meeting, will you be individually be like emailing or essentially explaining what we did wrong in our assignment so we can go back to
I'm
fix
gonna
it?
know, I need to go over this. If you imagine, if I had to do that with every single person, I'd never get through. You never get any work,
Okay.
to you. I'd never get work to you. So what I'm doing is telling you exactly what it is you need to do. That way you know what it is that you did wrong because you're seeing what I'm telling you to do. So whatever
Gotcha.
that is, go back and fix it afterwards. Cool?
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, thanks, Brian. And that's a great question. All right, so in the grid structure, time is running here. All right, in the grid structure, once again, just know that you're going to actually be, creating that with the specifics of having the layers of the manuscript, the modular grid, column grid, hierarchical grid. Choose one of those for the grid structures. Now, either of those could work, and so there could be some that don't work. Okay, what do I mean by that? If you have something that actually has, and that's all in the reading as well. If you have something that is more so word, related novels, things like that, manuscript works perfectly fine, right? Modular grid is going to work much better if you're actually using something that has pictures and different things. So manuscript is not the best thing for this because you have images that you have to actually create with this. Not the best thing. And I'm telling you this, and which, to be honest, it's for you to actually have to read and know which one works better. So I'm telling you, choose one of these to actually, know that, okay, if I use manuscript, it doesn't work well for this. So I don't need to use that. You want to make sure that you're reading so you know what works best. If I'm giving you choices, that doesn't mean that every choice is completely correct. You have to read it to know, okay, this one works better than this. Column grid, that may not work so good. Hierarchical grid might work better because this is something for, a newsletter or whatever the case may be. So I want to make sure that you know, okay, which one should I choose? The best one, that's the one you want to work with. So beyond that, let's say create digital. So I'm almost like giving you exact. You open that new InDesign file, use a separate layer to create the grids, and then choose one or more of these grids here. Then I'm telling you here, organize the text. Obviously, you have the text. It's a copy and paste type of thing, right? So you actually have to have every single thing here. If you notice here, it says the guest artist, right? So you're taking information for the guest artist, not their collection, right? So basically all of this, body copy, guest artist, location of the exhibition, all of that, you have to include. When it's talking about the actual images, you shouldn't have to be looking for their collection, because obviously you're just dealing with the guest artist, not their actual collection. So on a separate layer, once again, you're gonna make sure that you have those images only on that image layer, right? Resize the images to make them work for the area that you want them to work in, whatever the size may need to be or whatever, so on and so forth. But I'm telling you now, you have your grid structure, your organized text, your images, excuse me, your images on your next layer, and then your last layer is your layer that actually has the layout components on it. So you should have every single one of these located on your grid layout. So my suggestion is sometimes it's easier to get everything else out of your way, right? Maybe what you do is you actually go through, you have your idea of where everything is because you've created all of these other layers already. So when it comes to this grid layout, at this point, you can turn other things off. If you want to, you can turn off the text, the image layers, and only have on the grid structure and as far as, what grid you're using, and then the actual grid layout components. That way you know where your margins are, where your modules are, the gutters and the alleys. And I say gutters and alleys, I could have made two different ones because alleys are not the same as, I should say, all gutters are not alley gutters, right? The alley gutters are the only ones in the center. So you have your gutters, your alleys. So that means you really should have two different things there. Both of those, the gutters and the alleys, the columns, the spatial zones, flow lines, markers, all of those should actually be located. You actually have to put the name so I know what it is. Don't only actually put, say, color codes. What I mean by that, I noticed some people actually color coded each one, and it's cool to do that. I don't have a problem with that. But if you're going to do that, have a legend or something so I know, okay, everything in this color is actually a margin, everything in this color is a module, so on and so forth. So you just need to make sure you have all of those on there. So it's not only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, it's also 8. So you should have 8 different things to let me know exactly that you understand what these things are, all those components. So far, do I have everybody understanding what I'm telling you to do?
Yes, ma'am.
Lara?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, awesome. All right, 3:30, I have 10 minutes and time flies, God help me. Like I said, I did notice some people put it in the actual InDesign file. I have no problem with that. I think that, on the next one, you're gonna actually be told to do that. I think as well. So I want you to know that I didn't take off points if you didn't do it in a Word document. It's just that what I wanted you to do is focus directly on what you had to do for the 4 different layers. So that is why I asked you to put everything in a Word document so that, as far as the information there, so that you could actually have that separated and not have any issues. Once you get the, the understanding, yes, I understand we have 10 minutes and no, I'm not upgrading. So anyway, what I was saying was, besides these 4 layers, I wanted you to actually focus in on those and then just do the Word document with the information in there later, separate. Once again, it will be on the next one. And that is not something I took off points for anybody if they had, had that information in there. So that's good. As you're working on the article, and this is what I was telling you earlier, it's a good idea to actually keep information before you so that you can actually, not miss anything. You have both things up at the same time. Do not forget citing. Oh my gosh, y'all. People actually decide that they don't want to do citing, and so they take the loss in points. It's not hard. It's very easy. Once you actually get started doing it, you'll do it without even thinking twice about it. What I do want you to realize is you are citing the information for the images. So in the next one you've already gotten started on, you realize that now you not only have the artist images, you also have the images of their collection, right? It's all fictitious, okay? But we want you to be able to understand how to cite. So you're still going to be citing the information that is real, but we need you to know for the actual project purposes, it's fictitious. It's not real. So you're going to notice that in the actual information list that shows you what each picture is, it gives the information that we have for the project as well as the real information. Does everybody understand that part?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do. I was gonna ask, what is your suggestion if you're like citing over 10 images? Because I don't know if you could like fit in all of the information, so it's not like, in the way of everything else.
So this is the thing. I've also noticed some people are citing with their, if you have a document that you're creating, you're never going to have, think about it. If you go to an actual, let's say a show or somebody sends you information on an exhibition or something, you're not going to see citations on there. That's only for the work of the actual project. So you should never have your citations in with your work. So let's just say you have an image, that image should never actually have your citations with it. Your citation should always be on a works cited page separately. Now, and this is another thing, if you feel that it's better, unless I tell you otherwise in a project, that, okay, I'm gonna have it at the end of my actual InDesign document, it can be on 4 different pages, it doesn't matter, but you need to list them all in a works cited page. Do not put them with your actual design. Once
So when
again,
you
say it again, Brian.
So when you say works cited page, do you mean like as like a separate page on the InDesign document or like on your Word document with your explanation?
Okay, so that's what I'm getting to. If you want to put it at the end of your InDesign file, you can do that, and it'll be a works cited page at the very end, and it will have all your citations. So if you run into a second page, there's no problem with that. You have your works cited page, and it starts, from the beginning. And if you have to be honest, if you notice in the announcements, it actually is information there. Whoops, wrong way. Nope, I was going the right way. It's actually given to you right here. So you have information I'm giving you on how you should actually create MLA formatted citations. So there's your information there. So you shouldn't have to worry about it, but put it either at the end or you can actually include it in your Word document. Let's say in your next project, I don't mention where to put your citations. It's up to you. You can create a Word document or you can put it at the end of the InDesign file. No problem, but make sure you have it on a works cited page. Cool?
Yes.
All right, sweet. I have all of 5 minutes, and my God, the time went by fast. All right, so does everybody understand exactly what I'm talking about here?
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
Okay, I'm gonna move up here. I don't have time to actually play this, but it needs to be looked at because what's happening is people are not packaging their files correctly. When you package your actual files, you're gonna notice you're gonna end up with, let's just say you actually used fonts that are not Adobe fonts, right? When you package it, automatically is going to have a links folder that has all of your fonts, also your images, all of that stuff. Once you package it, it automatically is there. Don't get rid of anything that you actually come up that actually creates itself through the packaging process. It's needed. If I open up a file and that information is not there because you have not packaged it or you've deleted it, that means when I see your document, it doesn't look correct. So you want me to see it as you have created it. The only way that will happen is if you actually follow through with exactly what I am telling you to do as far as packaging. So you should end up having an InDesign file that ends in INDD. You should have one that's IDM, what is it? IDMT, or is it, no, IDMTL. Either way, there's going to be 2 different ones. Why is that? Because the INDD is one that is more up to date. The other one, if people have InDesign and it's an older model software, they'll be able to see it with the other file. Should not be a template file. I've noticed that some people have a template file that should not be in there, and that is not one of the things that I have actually explained to in this actual video. So in that video, make sure you read it. I mean, you look at it because it's giving you very good information in there. Obviously, this is from something else, a different class, but the information is just the same, is basically telling you how to work everything. So I need to make sure that you all know, it's important that you look at that. It's giving you a bunch of good information. Cool?
All good.
Yeah,
right,
and
so
I
does
think that was my
anybody-
mistake.
I'm sorry, say that again.
I think that was my mistake, and I just want to be very clear about it. When I open the zip file, or when you open the zip file, there should be another folder inside. And then inside that
Mhm.
folder, it's all the information that Adobe package into the actual file, correct?
Exactly. Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Yes, exactly. So don't get rid of any of that. We have 3 minutes and I just want to make sure, do y'all have any questions for me? Because I don't want you to get off without answering any questions that you may have.
So for future assignments, you just want us to mainly look at like the instructions through the announcements rather than the rubric?
Exactly, exactly. And why is that? Because there's some information in there that is not correct. If you notice, it actually told you that you needed information. Let's see if I can get to it real quick. My goodness, time is flying. I just, whoops, definitely don't want to be there. Move this down so I can see. Let's see. Crap. It's gonna take me a second. I got 2 minutes. I don't want to miss that. All right, so look. I was answering a question. I was trying to go somewhere else with it first, and I'm just not gonna have time to do it.
It's okay.
No, it's annoying to me because I know 40 minutes just runs by and I wanted to make sure you all get that. Did I answer the question you had?
Yeah, so I obviously have to, keep in mind looking at announcements. And then lastly, when is it the best time to reach out to you if there are any further questions?
Let me say this, whenever you have a question, email me. That's the better route to go. Much better route. And so I noticed that I think we've emailed each other a couple of times. I appreciate that. It works well. Whenever you have a question, I don't care if you have a question at midnight, email me. Of course, I may not see it at midnight, but email me and, give me 24 hours. Honestly, it's really hard 24 hours to actually reach people, especially, I actually teach at Mississippi State University as well. And
Oh.
so I'm teaching during the day, and I also am teaching for you all with 2 classes. So yeah, it's a lot. I have 6 classes I'm teaching. So it's sometimes a bit hard, but I do try to get back to you all within that time. And if I haven't, something has happened. So less than a minute, it's going to cut us off before you know it. What I want to say is thank y'all for showing up. I'm going to actually upload this. So if you need to go back and look at anything, great. If you have any questions, email me. Cool?
Appreciate it.
I appreciate y'all for showing up. Have a great rest of your day, okay?
You too.
All right.
All righty. Bye-bye.